we can also do that. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, and
I don't have
welcome.
the chat open.
Welcome, Bobby.
Here's the chat.
Welcome to our people. Anybody out there? I think it's just you and I, Bobby.
Oh,
Did I
that's
hit
cozy.
the stream button correctly? Seems like I did. Yeah,
I think so.
we're live,
Okay. Well,
but there's no
just
one
you and me.
there. How sad. Okay, well, regardless, do you want to do?
I'm sure somebody will pop up.
I'm sure.
Phoebe Joy popped up.
I'm not getting that in my chat.
No?
Uh-oh. Are we having a chat problem again? Let me try. Yeah, because I don't see that at all on the chat. So let's. And Phoebe, we're going to be talking about synthesizers to start, and then we're going to do other stuff too. I thought hang on, let me just switch this so I can go. Oh my gosh, you know what I completely forgot? Is it feature? Oh my gosh, I forgot like actually where.
What'd you forget?
The chat. Here it is. I think I found it. So I'm going to just do that trick where we copy and paste and put it back in. I hope. So Phoebe, would you do me a small favor, Phoebe, and just maybe do some typing so I can.
Jasmine's here too. Jasmine, if you could also send
I'm
a new
literally
message.
getting nothing. Yeah. I'm going to refresh.
All right.
I'm going to
Phoebe said
refresh this. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to refresh what I can.
Did you see Phoebe's hello? No?
Oh, there we go. I think we're good. Yes. Okay. I see Jasmine. Hello, David. Great to have you guys on again. I see that.
Okay. And you don't see Phoebe's hello?
No. Really weird. I'm seeing, hang on, let me just look here. Oh, Phoebe, hello. Yes. But.
There we go. Miles is here. JT's here.
Okay, so Phoebe, I see on the OBS itself, because I turned on the chat there. I do not see Phoebe's chats in the Restream IO. I see everybody else.
What? But Phoebe's.
Not Phoebe.
Did you see JT's?
I see.
Did you see Miles?
Yeah, I see Jasmine, Miles, JT Ska.
Okay. You probably
Phoebe,
just refreshed.
there. She just said, "Oh no." Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
cool.
Yeah, I think you just refreshed right when she said hello.
Yeah.
She was right.
All
on
right.
it, right
We're all in the happy place.
We're all set.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
So
we're gonna do a quick rundown on synths.
Yeah, because we talked about synths, and
what was your first synth? What was the first time that you were like,
right?
You know,
the U20, the Roland U20, which technically was, they called it a rompler because it was like use these ROMs and it was samplers, and but it wasn't a sampler. You couldn't sample with it. It was just a sample playback machine. It's called the Roland U20. Memory. And eventually I sold it, but I got a rack mount version and I still have it. It is still right. It's one of those little black ones at the top, and it's plugged in, and it even has MIDI. And that's the other thing. I recently brought out the uniters, which are basically these three down here. And thank you, Bobby. So this is now, I have 24 ins and 24 outs of MIDI. So now literally everything here is all hooked up, and everything in here is all hooked up. So like everything's hooked up now. Everything has MIDI. And
nice.
Yeah, even the modulars over here have MIDI. So, sorry.
So we're playing cat and mouse. All right.
This one here has also has MIDI. A MIDI CV gate because it's old modular stuff. So anyway, so the U20, and I still have it. And I did so much music on it. It was incredible. My second synth was the sound canvas. And
the sound canvas.
Right. The first general MIDI synth where Roland and Korg, they all agreed on a standard system for MIDI.
Right.
You know, drums are always on MIDI channel number 10. You know, the kick is like C1, the snare is always D1, hi-hats are always F sharp 1. You know, they agreed on all of it. So
right.
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. But it led me on this, quest, and it got me really into synths. And by the time the 2000s came, Bobby, there you are.
That was me. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm gonna take over here because I'm gonna talk about, in the 2000s, my favorite synths, two of them. There's the Virus, which is this guy right here, which is hooked up. And I'll demo them right now, actually. And then this guy right here, the JP8080. Everybody knows my favorite is obviously the Jupiter. But I'm going to talk about these other two. Why? Because there's no Jupiter plugin. Well, I guess the closest you could get is the Jupiter 8 plugin. Hi, Nick. Welcome. But this, you can get a digital absolute clone. And also this guy, the Virus here. And Phoebe knows the Virus especially well. And she also knows that when and if, because I might decide to not ever die, but if I ever die, I'm leaving my Virus to her. My Virus has been committed. So that sounds pretty bad, but it's not really that bad. Okay. So let's just take a peek here real quick. And here we go. So here's Logic. And so the point I'm trying to make is that the Virus here, let's go ahead. We'll open it up. And here it is. And this Virus, let's see, what do I want to do here? I want to do this. Right. So you can see what I'm doing down here. Right. So, well, first... Anyway, so you can see as I'm moving over here, it's affecting over there. Let's go to maybe my sat sync. So this was a really cool little patch from the Virus. I used it a lot. I use this thing on everything. Oh God, I just love this thing. And I guess quickly, I'll just show you the JP8080. I'll put this guy on so you can see what I'm doing over here. So for example, it's so awesome, this thing.
Right.
Let me pull up the BPM Pulse. This is I used, by the way, both of these got used on Pac-Man World 2 and on Tales of Destiny. Oh, you know what? I just realized there's a decapitator on this. That's why it sounds so rough. So there it is. So what I love about both of these plugins is, I realized you weren't able to see this as I was doing. Anyway, I'll do it here so you can, I think I needed to do this. There you go. You still can't see what I'm doing, but fine. You can you can look at my screen and understand that those two knobs there at the same time are not, right? That's not a phantom mouse moving those two sliders at the same time. So I just love this thing. It just sounds lovely and wonderful. And the filters. just beautiful. I love this thing. So this was a real star on Tales of Destiny. And the virus was used on, I don't know, 3 or 4 different Pac-Man World 2 tracks. And
of course, it was on X-Men.
Oh, man, it was, yeah.
All over X-Men.
All over,
right.
Including the Super Jupiter was all over. And a synth that also has been remade called the JX8P. And you know who remade it? TAL, Togu Audio Line.
Okay. Right.
I think Audio Line is a Togu Audio Line. I think that's what TAL said.
I know TAL.
Anyway, they're fantastic. Sure, great. And
right.
they remade the JX8P because it's one of these beloved synths. And I sold my JX8P, but I kept my Super JX, which is right below, right here, all hooked up, all powered on. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Yeah, so that flashing guy right there, that's the Super JX, which is not 1, but 2 JX8Ps in a box, rack mounted. So, at a certain point, I kind of consolidated and, removed, especially, just wanted everything kind of in the rack. I realized I didn't really need the keyboard attached. And because it's 2 JX8Ps in 1, I was just like, 2 is better than 1. So yeah, I kept that. And these two, the 80 and the 70, that's the MKS 70, also called the Super JX. And the Super Jupiter, these two, where my thumb is pointing, are the last true analog synths that Roland made. Everything after that was DCOs, which are digitally controlled oscillators. And this leads me to a very important point that I really want to talk about. You think about some of these great synthesizers like the Juno 106, but they're DCOs, which means they're digitally controlled. They're not voltage controlled oscillators. And so a lot of people think the Juno 106, it's a great analog synth. It is, but it's the oscillators controlled digitally. Now that's not bad. It's actually good. It's the reason why everything moved to digital and left analog in the dust. Because, and I'm quoting, I don't know the guy's name, but Cherry Audio, great synth designer. He said, and I'm quoting, that digital is more analog than analog. Now, what does he mean by that? Well, for example, this Super Jupiter, which is a rack mount version of the Jupiter 8, has 8 oscillators in it. So it, if I want to get the sound of a 32 oscillator Jupiter, I'd need to have 4 of those in the rack, which is presumably why Hans Zimmer owns, I don't know, like 10 of these things. Thank you. That's great. Yes. So there it is. You're getting a little detailed view from Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. If you want, you can go full screen if you wanted to. Regardless,
no, it's okay.
if I wanted, I have to buy, more of these. So when he says that digital is more analog than analog, that's the programmer right there that you see, both of them together. And that little white thing you see below the MKS 80, that's the cartridge. Here, I'll pull it out. This is this guy right here. It's the where you save all of your patches. You can see how giant is the memory card. Wow. It's huge, right? So this is the 70 right here. All this. Anyway, so oops, sorry. So the point is, when he says that, what does it mean? Well, it means that in digital, you could take, literally, I can take 1,000 instances of a Jupiter 8 and make an 8,000 oscillator synth of all Jupiter, right? And the point is, you cannot do that with analog. No one, first of all, I don't even think Roland made so many of them. You're not going to find, a Jupiter 8 now is going for 20 or 30,000 euros. So no one can afford to buy 1,000 real Jupiter 8s,
Right.
let alone find 1,000 people willing to sell them. I don't care how much anybody offered. Well, okay, maybe I'd sell it for 100,000 euros or something. But even like somebody said like 25,000, I would never sell my Jupiter. No. Never again, because I made that mistake once. So anyway, I'm going to turn this off because it distracts me.
Sure.
That's just the refresh rate, by the way, from the video. Right. It doesn't always do that. It stays solid. So, anyway, that's
where do you think the place is for synthesizers as an instrument in composition?
Well, I mean, look, in the same way that, the saxophone was invented as a new instrument, it was meant to join the orchestra. Like, let's make a brass instrument, but instead of being played with a mouthpiece, we'll use reeds. Like woodwinds. And it was rejected. I think only Ravel may have, I think in Bolero, maybe he used saxophone, slipped one in there, but so I think it's the same. So the classical music world rejected the electric guitar, the guitar generally. Right. There was even the classical guitar, right? Yeah. It's not part of the orchestra. Even the pianoforte, is not a standard part of the orchestra, right? So I think that the synthesizer has a permanent place in modern music, right? So Robert Moog made the first synthesizer, and he theorized that it could reproduce every single sound known in the universe, or at least on Earth. It was supposed to do that. So you could literally perfectly recreate a French horn or a cello, and it was the greatest failure of all time. Like, nothing failed more at doing what it was designed to do.
Right.
But what we got changed music forever, right? And so you wouldn't have Michael Jackson's Thriller, you wouldn't have Bootsy Collins or George Clinton, Parliament, Funkadelic, all these amazing funk bands that came out using the synth. You wouldn't have David Bowie. You wouldn't have the 80s, full stop, just full stop. Yeah. No 80s. Yeah.
The 80s was...
It would have just...
I think it's was such an amazing time because you had new sounds coming out, right? Like, now everyone's heard everything, but you had a couple decades there where a new synth would come out and somebody would be like, holy shit, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, like that's my generation, right? Like I think 1981 was when MTV first broadcast, in August of 81, I believe. Someone can fact check me.
Hans Zimmer.
And yes, and he's in the video. And Phoebe, I have to do a shout out because she said, look at the custom icons in Logic, which I'm sorry, I spent a stupid amount of time on them. And so the fact that they are being noticed, it makes me very happy. So we'll just quickly look at my track icons, right? There's the JP8080. There's the Virus. Yes. So, I just have to do the full shout out to Phoebe Joy for noticing that. Thank you, Phoebe. But the point is, that is my generation, because I was like 11 years old when MTV first launched. And literally, and it didn't exist in Canada. Didn't exist. And my grandparents lived in Florida at the time. And so we would visit them, and all we did, and they'd be yelling at us like, you should go to the swimming pool. Why aren't you outside? And we just like 24. And there was like the same 20 videos just in rotation, hour after hour after hour. Like it was like Billy Idol, White Wedding. It was Video Killed the Radio Star. And Michael Jackson wasn't part of the initial launch, right? Because he was not in the target demographic of MTV. In other words, he was black. So there was no black artists until I think Walter Yetnikoff, the guy at CBS Records who was managing or had the record deal with Michael Jackson at the time. He threatened to pull all the CBS artists off of MTV if they didn't put Michael Jackson. And then Michael Jackson finally got its Billie Jean, and that was it.
Okay.
That was it. It was the end, man. So, but my point is, I literally heard sounds that I never heard in my life before.
Right.
For the first time. And it was like an alien ship landing. Now, this leads us to our next topic, which we want to talk about tonight, right?
So,
but tell me,
you're on the wrong camera. But
oh, sorry. Hold on.
Yeah,
there we go. Sorry about that.
Difficult
Thank
you. Hip hop and
our next topic.
The creation of hip hop being literally playing somebody else's music and somebody talking over it. The very, very beginning, and how today, if you were to pull that stunt, you'd get 3 copyright strikes and your channel would be banned.
That's right.
So
listen, Bobby and I were talking earlier about, maybe doing some commentary on other video game soundtracks. And I told him that once someone asked me to do a review of the music of Toby Fox, and then I got a demonetization notice and you're a bad boy slap on the wrist, So I'll just give people just the brief overview of how hip hop started. So it started with a guy named DJ Kool Herc. And he was actually a Jamaican DJ that ran a sound system in Jamaica. He came to the Bronx, New York City. And then he would throw these amazing block parties. And he had this technique called the merry-go-round technique, where he would basically mark on the vinyl where the breaks were, the drum break specifically. And he'd play one beat, and then he would, make another beat similar, and then go back to the first beat, and then go to the second beat. And anyway, so this was the first thing. And he'd leave a live mic, and then people would come and do their shout outs. I want to give a shout out. Yo, Phoebe Joy, thank you so much for recognizing my virus icons. Thank you, Phoebe Joy. Yeah, in the house. All right. We're partying with DJ Kool Herc. And this is how rap began. Right. So then there was another DJ also in the Bronx, and his name was Grandmaster Flash. And we have to give all credit where it's due. He took the name from another Brooklyn DJ by the name of Grandmaster Flowers. But Grandmaster Flash thought it sounded cool, Grandmaster Flash. And so they say real hip hop began in Brooklyn. This is what Chuck D and Public Enemy will tell you. But anyway, whatever. It's a big dispute. Did it start in the Bronx or Brooklyn? These are two parts of New York City, the boroughs. Anyway, So Grandmaster Flash, then he developed what he called the quick mix theory. The quick mix theory was he would take the same exact 2 copies of the same record, and he'd mark the same spot on the vinyl where the drum break happened. And then he would perfectly move the turntables so that it was an endless loop of a drum or party break. And the B in B-boy comes from the word break, right? So B-boy, the B is for break dancing, right? For breakers. Yeah. And so this all came from the drum break, the breakdown section of the song where the drums would start, maybe the bass would come back in. This is called a breakdown section, right? So the quick mix, and that took off, by the way. That is still to this day the standard on, the way that DJs do everything now. And, everybody understood the quick mix theory was better, but DJ Kool Herc is bitter about it because he talks shit about Flash. And if you Google it, you can watch, I think it's called An Open Letter to Kool Herc or something like that. And it's literally in the most kindest, sweetest way saying, please stop dissing me because the world knows that my method was better than yours. I love you. I will always respect you. you were the originator. It began with you. You have your, like, it's so good. And, you know, DJ Kool Herc just looks like a real asshole when he talks shit about Flash. Because Flash is like, well, if you know Blondie's song, Rapture, right? You know, she calls out, you know, Flash. Flash is fast. Flash is cool. Francois, whatever, going to do. She does something in French. Anyway, so, and she, by the way, is the first white rapper, the first female rapper, and she'll always have that in history. No one can ever take that away from her. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, it's a very fascinating story. But the thing I think we want to discuss tonight is that the genre hip hop literally could never happen today. In other words, if the reason music is all generic now is because Google and the big, let's just call it big tech, has, you know, through YouTube and all the other platforms, made it against the law to basically play anybody's music. They have advanced AI algorithms that if you even hum the melody to, you know, whatever, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, you just hum it and you're going to get a copyright strike. You know, not a strike, but like a slap on the wrist, a demonetization notice or whatever.
Well, they'll let you know that they're watching.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll be like, if you continue down this road, we will end you. Right.
Yeah, it's a slap on the wrist. And the point is, the block parties that happened in the Bronx that were hosted by Kool Herc and Grandmaster Flash and Fab Five Freddy, who was a very, very important artist, hip hop artist and graffiti artist, and just sort of cultivator of the culture. All these guys, and Africa Bombata, like there were these incredible people who were there at the birth, but they all played other people's music.
Right.
And so nobody shut that down. And you know what? Up until the 1990s, everybody sampled everybody. The sampler replaced the turntable as the means of looping a breakbeat. And this is how hip hop was born in the 1980s. And you have Public Enemy. Oh my God. How can I forget their name? Run DMC. I almost forgot their name. Run DMC. You have LL Cool J, you know, these original pioneers of sort of like the first wave of like what we really know as hip hop today. And of course, you have Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, who started Def Jam Records, together. Yeah. And all of this.
NWA out.
Well, and it exploded hip hop onto the scene. And here's the funny part. Everybody was sampling illegally. And nobody gave a shit until some lawyer at some record label, when one of the artists, I think it was the Turtles, and or I forgot the guy who, anyway, it doesn't matter. There was an early lawsuit where they sued and they won because they proved it in court. He illegally used our record. He slowed it down by a semitone. It's still our song, and they fucking won. And guess what? The tidal wave of lawsuits began, and everyone got sued left and right. And guess what happened? It made my generation specifically, because, you know, I was like, I remember The Message, which was, oh my God, was Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel. Right. How could I forget this? Okay. Anyway, the first big radio hit was called The Message. And like literally I can still recite, you know, flies on the faces, the living like mice, the houses even make the ghetto look nice. You know, he was describing Africa, right? And the problems in Africa. It was very political. It was like really, really cool. Anyway, like, and everybody, the Rocks, give up the box so you can brag about it for the next 6 blocks. I mean, these were the early 80s like rappers, you know, and we all know, like, ask anyone of my generation, they'll be able to like recite some lyrics from that era. And the thing is, a culture was born. So what happened was my generation, afraid of being sued, You have bands like Portishead. They're my age basically, and even I did this. I actually did the same thing that a lot of people started doing. I literally cut my own vinyl. So we would make our own drum loops or guitar parts and or break sections of a song, and we would print vinyl. So in LA, you had to do a minimum run of like 300 or something. Anyway, I had all this extra vinyl. And but I did. And I had a DJ come in and he actually, the song we played, Cold, I had a DJ come in and spin my vinyl. So like, it's like, it was like we had to, because you couldn't sample anybody's vinyl anymore. So they shut it down, but the explosion happened. But you see, then you had NWA and Dr. Dre. Again, these are all my generation, right?
Right.
And they became the superstars. And Dr. Dre became a super producer, deep pockets, so that by the time he's producing Eminem, it's like, oh, hey, I want to use your sample. Oh, well, if you want to use my sample, it's going to cost you $250,000. Well, that's cheap. No problem. Here you go.
Right.
And we need 1/4 of the publishing rights. It's like, all right, fine. So yeah, man. And you look at the Verve, Bittersweet Symphony.
That was such a
right. And the Rolling
story.
Stones
I still despise the Rolling Stones for that.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't their decision. It was the publisher of the song. To be fair, we have to be fair to the Stones.
Sure.
Now, they were because remember, those early 60s bands did not know what copyright and publishing was. Right.
Right.
So it's like I'm like 21 years old. I want to do sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And you've got a contract that says I'm going to make this amount of money every year. Sure, I'll sign it. And I gave up all the publishing rights. This happened to the Beatles. In fact, the Beatles never owned their early publishing. I don't think they owned any of their publishing. And
didn't Michael Jackson own it for a while?
Yeah. In fact, Paul McCartney.
They bought it back from him.
Yeah. Paul McCartney was very good friends and made a few singles with Michael Jackson. They wrote some songs together. They were best friends, really. And Michael's like, oh, listen, I have all this money. I hope I can do an okay Michael Jackson voice. And I don't know what to do with the money. What do you do with your money? You're rich. And Paul McCartney's like, well, what I do is I just buy publishing rights as much as I can, because the royalties just keep coming in and just buy as much publishing as you can. And Michael's like, okay, thanks. That's really good advice, And then I forgot if it was like Sony, BMG, or somebody who owned the rights at the time was like $50 million and you can buy all the Beatles rights. And Michael Jackson was just like, sure, I'll give you $100 million, whatever the deal was. I don't know how it went down.
Yeah.
I'm making up the finer details. And that ended the friendship. Right. Because Paul called Yoko and Sean, who owned, what would have been John Lennon's portion of that. And he's like, Yoko, let's bid. Let's try and let's pool our cash together. Let's buy back what's rightfully ours, And they were outbid by Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Wow.
So So they could have had it back, which if Michael really was a real friend.
Right. You think he would have given it?
He would have bought it and then just given it back to them, or given them half. Like, here you go.
Something
as a token of friendship. Like, listen, this is an investment for me, but or like in my will, I'll leave the songs to you, but I want to make money on them while I'm alive or whatever, man. But yeah, so yeah. It is what it is. But here's the point, that hip hop could never exist today. You could never, the genre can't exist because of copyright strikes, channel shutdown threats.
It's always the lawyers too. It's rarely the artist.
Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. Kiwi said your Discord server is dealing with a spam bot that's been spamming a scam in every channel. I have no idea how to deal with that, honestly. So thank you for bringing that to my attention.
I don't think I'm an admin on the Discord server, so I'll
Can
figure
you
out how
join
you
and
can
I'll make you
make
the
me an
admin?
admin, and I
Because
will.
I honestly, I don't know how to deal with any of that shit. Thank you, by the way, for pointing that out. I'm trying to catch up. One way or another is Blondie. That is correct. That is correct. Sorry, I want to deal with this issue because I don't want that to exist on my server. No, Kiwi, it's you're a great help. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's really, really much appreciated.
Go to the server. Let's see who is
Anyway,
this person.
while you're doing that, I've got the update to Discord is on its way. Anyway, add me as a friend, and then I don't even know how to make you an admin, honestly. I guess right click
Kiwi,
on your name.
Can you just tell me who in what channel? Because I'm just looking at some.
Usually on this stream, it tells us. I think Phoebe, are you still there? Or can anybody send the address of the server? Because like,
no, I'm on the server. I just don't see any. Are we talking about David Logan Twitch DC, or is this a different?
Kiwi, which are you?
Oh, St. Louis. Okay, St. Louis students only.
In the St. Louis and in general. Okay, and general. Okay.
Is that the Cambo Dragon? If you send me his name, I can try to figure out what's what, and I can.
Hold on, I'm just trying to get. Discord is not launching here. I don't know why.
Cambo Dragon. Okay. All right. So I will send you a message, David, and you can make me an admin, and I can get rid of that guy.
I'm gonna have to log on from my other machine because
if I can find David Logan. There's David Logan.
Dear me. Why won't this? Oh, I'm finally there. Okay. So Bobby, general.
Yeah, I found it. If you go to St. Louis students only, you'll see him. Right. It's the second to last message.
Where are you, Bobby? I don't. How are you? Have you joined the server? Are you in the general chat? How do I?
Yeah,
find you?
I'm in the general chat here. Where's general? Shit, there's general. Okay, here I'll write hello.
Okay. And then I guess I just right click and make you an admin. Is that how it works?
I couldn't tell you. I think you'd have to. Yeah, probably.
I don't see you in the general at all, Bobby. I'll just type hey.
Hello.
So we're in the right place.
I wrote hello, hello, hello. Are you sure not?
I literally. Are you in welcome or general?
Typing. General. You want me to go to welcome?
Do you see me saying hey?
In general?
Wait a second. Hold on. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. I think I was in the wrong place. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I gotcha. I see you. Roles. How do I, first of all, I'm going to add you as a friend. Invite to server. You're already in the server. Change nickname, add note. Somebody want to guide me through how I would make him the admin? Server settings, maybe. Roles, go to roles, maybe. Let's try that. People is like empty in the list.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you have to go to your server settings.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay. And then click on roles.
I'm there.
Do you have an admin role?
It just says default permissions. Everyone so applies to all server members. Oh, okay. So at everyone.
Maybe make a new role.
View channels.
Well, don't add everyone.
I don't like see a list of all the people. Kiwi,
Okay.
are you there?
Permission.
Maybe you've always been very helpful about helping me out on this.
Permissions. So you have to click on permissions.
All right, I'm right clicking on the server, right? I'm going to server settings. Is that correct?
Right.
I'm going to
Correct.
roles. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm there.
Right. So you can create a new role. So say like admin.
Okay, create role. So just type admin.
Admin, and then go to permissions.
There's only one thing I can do, which is create role.
So create the role.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, new role.
So you can call that admin.
Okay, I'll call it. So role name, admin. Now I see permissions.
Right.
Okay. So I'll allow everything. But then now I don't know how to make you.
So the next step is manage members.
Okay. I'm trying to, there's a lot of things to checkbox here, man. Holy
There's no just general administrator?
There's all these things I'm checking. It's too long, man. All right. I gave you the permission to manage the channel. So, all right, manage members. And then I guess I type your name.
Bobby Bandari.
But nothing comes up. No members found. Add member to this role. I got it. There we go. Bobby, add. Okay. So you're added officially.
Sweet.
And should I just keep going back and checkboxing everything?
There should be one that says
manage messages. Like there's just so many. Is there not like a click all? Advanced permissions, like what?
There you go. At the very bottom, advanced permissions, administrator. That's the only one I think.
Okay.
Need.
Members with this permission will have every permission. Okay. Perfect. Save changes. Okay. So you should be good to go.
All right.
All right. Are you able to boot people out? Sorry for the delay, everybody, but
yeah,
you know, if there's like a spam bot, you know, we don't want that hanging around on the Discord.
Check it out.
All right, back. Were you able to get that admin okay, Bobby?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. I can delete message. How do I block this guy?
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Kiwi, by the way. Very, very, very much appreciated that you brought that to our attention. Yeah. Kiwi is so helpful always. Great guy. Is Spin around? Spin. Oh, there he is. There he is. Spin is here. So Spin was asking, yeah, there were these CDs called Ecstatic Goldmine, XL1. And a lot of them, see, there was this loophole. There was the Copyright Revision of 1976. They reformed the Copyright Act in 1976. And so like, there's this sort of strange gray area. I don't know. I don't remember the legality of it, but around or either before or after or something. I guess what it was that there was no copyright mark on many of these records. They weren't actually stamped with a copyright seal. So just so you guys know, and I'll type this in the chat, a copyright, when you copyright something, you don't have to send it to a copyright office. By the way, I must say in full screen, I am not a lawyer and I'm not giving you legal advice, just to say, okay? But my lawyer, way back in the day, said you need the following. You need the year of the first publication. So you do copyright, for example, 2026, and then you need the name of the artist or the publishing company. So my publishing company is David Logan Music. So therefore, copyright 2026, David Logan Music. I just put that in the chat for anybody. So anyway, the copyright symbol, or you can spell the full word copyright, the date of the first publication, and then you write the publisher, and that's all you need, you know. And that is legally notice enough. So, Kiwi saying the scam image is still in.
Yeah, I'm working through that.
He's
right
working.
now.
Bobby's on it. Bobby is on it.
Taking care of it.
Thank you so much, Kiwi, for pointing this out. Very much appreciated. Is it that combo dragon? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find him now.
So should we report the message?
I've already done that.
Okay. Perfect. And I guess I'll leave you to delete it.
Yeah, I'm in the process of figuring this out.
Thank you. Thank you for taking care of that. Anyway, I'll just I'll keep the party going over here. So going back to this idea of hip hop, that genre could never exist today because of because of all these copyright strikes. And what this has done is it has put us in a creative dark ages. We're in the dark ages, and there can be no renaissance. There's not going to be a renaissance. Why? Because how does culture grow in the first place? Through accretion, right? Each artist builds on the work of the previous. Beethoven built some of his work on Mozart and Haydn, right?
Right.
Berlioz stood on the shoulders of Beethoven. Everybody did. So, do you think Radiohead would sound like Radiohead if there was no David Bowie? I doubt it. I mean, do you think Coldplay would sound like Coldplay without Peter Gabriel? I really doubt it, And so, I'll give you a great example. Ariana Grande has a song that literally almost note for note, at least and production style, takes from Elvis Costello, Pump It Up. Elvis Costello, one of the great icons, greatest songwriters of all time, and was an 80s icon, was in an interview, and they're like, are you aware of the Ariana Grande song that heavily is influenced by Pump It Up? And he's like, oh, yeah, I know. And they're like, do you plan to take any legal action because it is so close? And he said, no. He's like, no. How? He said, how can culture grow if we don't?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's usually the lawyers. It's usually but
that's why I said, don't blame the Stones, right? How
Right.
did that happen? I don't know. But anyway.
Kiwi. Kiwi.
So,
by the way, I'm back. So
yeah. So, yeah, I got you. But yeah,
right.
It's the lawyers. I mean, look,
do
you know, you
or
want
the
to
estate.
I just wanted to say, do you know what the only saddest thing about a bus full of lawyers going over a cliff is?
Bus?
There was 2 empty seats. Sorry, I love that joke. Anyway, poor lawyers. I mean, look, they're only doing their job, I suppose. Their job is to act in the best interest of the artist. And I suppose they're doing that. And they're going after the money and the cash. They have no idea about culture and artistry.
Well,
and
I guess I should take that back. It's not the lawyers. It's the person who owns the publishing. It's either the estate or the estate. The estate is usually the worst.
Yeah, they're usually brutal. Like Marvin Gaye, what was it? Robin Thicke, Blurred Lines.
Yeah,
like Marvin Gaye's family, estate, and all. Sued for that song because they said it was too similar. I listened to the song; it doesn't sound anything even remotely similar. Come on. But they were saying the beat and the feeling. It's like, well, shut up, man. Shut the piss up, man. Really? Right. If you listen to the song, I wish I could play it. If you guys just go on YouTube, the band is called The Jam, and the song is called Start. So if you just type in Start The Jam and listen, you will hear the exact same bass line as Taxman. Dum 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 dum. And literally, Paul Weller, who is the author of that song, Start, it's carbon copy. There is literally no difference. They literally took it from the Beatles. The Beatles didn't sue. Nobody sued because it's just a guitar riff, man, you know, because I guess you can't really copyright a riff. I think this is where some people lost lawsuits. And I think it depends on the riff, I guess.
The
that
idea
would be a great
behind it is that it has to be the heart of the song, right?
Well,
it has to be like the main part of the song. And if you take that,
Stairway to Heaven, right? There was a band in the 70s that put out a song before Led Zeppelin. And yeah, I mean, it's so clear. That's where they ripped off the riff from. Like, it's obvious. Right. But that band lost in court because in the end, it's sort of like, look, it's a riff. A song are lyrics, chord progressions, and melodies. And this is not enough. It's not enough. And that's probably why the Beatles didn't have a case against the Jam, right? But it is. I mean, it's literally note for note, right?
Which is so interesting to me because right now, a lot of pop is just, I guess they call it transposed music from like the 80s and 90s, right? Like so much of, what's her name? The woman from England, Dua Lipa, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. She took from In Excess. Then. Yeah. And hers was like dang, dee da dang, or whatever it was. But it was Yeah.
But the reason why that song is good is because of that riff that they took from In Excess. Like, we hear it 30 years later and we're like, oh, that's that song. She did a version of that song. Not listed as a writer, no money given to them, nothing, and also no lawsuit. So I don't know where that goes. Like, I'm not saying that it's wrong for her to have done that or her producer to have done that. I'm just commenting on how interesting it is that somehow they're getting away with it by calling it transposed.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not sure I quite understand that.
It's
because I saw a video of Christian Henson. Somebody asked him to redo the theme of White Lotus in his style. I guess this was after the White Lotus composer got fired. He's like, I only listened to the reference one time and that's it. I never listened to it again because I don't want to accidentally play something like that.
Sure.
And he said, and maybe this is British copyright law, but that if they can prove that your piece wouldn't have existed without their piece, then you can get sued. Again, that might be something in England.
Well, look.
But like, what do you do with that? Because I might hear something and 10 years later, play it on the piano and not even realize.
Look, the most covered song of all time is Yesterday by the Beatles, right? Which was written by Paul McCartney. The most covered song. But what it means is that the person who puts out that song does not get the copyright. They don't get the copyright of the intellectual property. They don't get the publishing rights. They don't get the synchronization rights. They only get what's called a mechanical rights, which is the sale of their CD. The Beatles can't claim that, you know, but, and even if the cover of Yesterday is what put them on the map, doesn't matter, you know? So, but all the public, if it gets played on the radio, used in a TV commercial, well, actually you can't use a Beatles song in a TV commercial, but whatever, when it's played on the radio or you know, played on YouTube or Spotify, you know, the Beatles get the publishing. Right. So it is
Isn't
legal.
That what makes, I feel that when artists are or publishers or whoever, when they're so strict with making sure that they keep their music just in their own hands, doesn't that prevent people from growing with that music and keeping that music a part of the culture?
That's the whole point. It's why music sucks today. It's why Rick Beato keeps putting out videos. I thought the top 10 Spotify could not get any worse, but it did.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it was bad.
It's all.
I didn't think it would be that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Listen. I honestly like. We talked a little bit about this, but like,
right.
where are a band like the Beatles? Where's a band like, or an artist like Michael Jackson or Diana Ross and the Supremes? Like, where is all that? We don't have that. These were trailblazers. These were innovators. These were people who changed music on the planet Earth. Berry Gordy, who started Motown Records, changed, I would even say, the music of humanity with Motown and all the artists that they put out.
Right.
Prince changed music. Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Peter Gabriel in a sort of way, because of his embracement of technology and pushing using samplers, and he was the first to use the CMI and the synclavier and all these other technologies. So yeah, and then obviously Def Jam Records, right? Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons for starting Def Jam, right? And I mean, just I guess Dre as a producer, sort of running in parallel with Def Jam. I mean, different ends of the, you got New York and LA, but the point is, and it's perfect in a way, because right, East Coast, West Coast hip hop, right? Yeah. Very different hip hop. So, I mean, there's, but where is that today? So, Bobby, in 10,000 years, who do you think, when they look back at the music of 10,000 years ago in the future, I mean, do you think Dua Lipa is going to be mentioned, or Ariana Grande, or Rihanna? No freaking way they're going to be remembered. Like Rihanna? Come on. Seriously. Like even Beyonce won't be mentioned. And Jay-Z won't be mentioned either.
Right.
Jay-Z's. Yeah. But the Beatles will be mentioned, right? MJ, my boy, Michael Jackson.
Of course.
He's going to be remembered, man. He's going to be remembered.
Right. And
I hope Quincy gets an honorable mention, right? For producing Thriller and all the other stuff he did. He did Off the Wall, he did Thriller. I mean, just a legendary arranger and producer and, composer as well, but he's not known for that. So like, yeah. And so why does music suck today? Because there's no culture growing, because anytime somebody talks about music and plays it on their channel, they get demonetized or slap on the wrist. Like, keep doing that. We're going to shut you down. Next time is a strike. So how on earth if we can't even talk about and reference and play the music? You told me earlier, Bobby, you said, hey man, what if we start talking about other composers and game sounds? Like, yeah, sure. We could talk about them. Right. But as soon as I played once on my stream, Toby Fox, and his thing claimed it on my Twitch. So, I guess I lost
Which is crazy, because I have no idea who Toby Fox is, but if I had heard you play it, maybe I would have been like, hey,
there you
that's
go.
Kind of cool.
Right. But that's how culture grows, Bobby. That's how culture grows. Like I talk about Toby Fox. You're like, who's Toby Fox? Right. And then I specifically show something I think it's brilliant about him or whatever. And you go discover that for yourself. And then you're just like, wow, this is great. And then you listen to it, and then that can influence you and your composing. I mean, that's how it's done, guys. That's how it's done. I mean, let's look at one of the greatest examples in all of cinema history, certainly. The Eric Korngold soundtrack for King's Row, starring Ronald Reagan, right? I mean, that is Star Wars. Ba-ba-ba-bum, bum, ba-ba-bum. Bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba bum ba dee da ya dee, which is Superman. So he got a twofer. Old Johnny Boy got a twofer. He got Star Wars out of it and some Superman. But that's how art grows. Star Wars is a better soundtrack. Sorry, it just is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Better melody.
It's better music.
Better everything. Right? But Korngold, who was an opera composer, fantastic, but he's not genius level. He took the standard German, Wagnerian opera concept and, used it in film scoring when he went to Hollywood. And John Williams was like, okay, thank you very much. Like every single classical composer before.
Yeah.
They all do it, man.
Yeah. Everything is built on
something else.
Right.
And so now nobody knows what to build on what. And so I think the legal argument now is with Dua Lipa and the In Excess riff, right? Dang, 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 dang. Is it a cover? Is it an original song? Is it like, in other words, do you have to classify it as? And I think that the legal consensus is that it's sort of in between, like, yeah, Michael Hutchence should be credited here, or, the other guy who might have wrote the riff, maybe. I don't know how it went. I'm not saying that's what happened.
Yeah.
But I think this is generally, you're seeing a lot of this. That I think it was only in the 80s or 90s that like Willie Dixon, finally won, and maybe the estate of Willie Dixon finally won the lawsuit against Led Zeppelin, because Willie Dixon, wrote a lot of those, undeniably Led Zeppelin songs that were written by Willie Dixon, especially when you look at them side by side, lyric by lyric, riff by riff, just like undeniable. And finally, he got credited, and he's credited to this day, I think, on some of the Led Zeppelin songs. So, look, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. Because of the birth of the internet, nobody even knew about Eric Korngold and John Williams stealing. No one knew about that. And then some of my generation sort of did the investigative work. And actually, I think I first found out about this at GDC. I was at GDC, and guy did this. I remember so well. Yeah, this sort of kind of arrogant composer. And, this is a beautiful GDC moment, in fact. So he's like, and therefore, this is the greatest theft in the history of not just film composing, but in composing. Like, he was so arrogant. Wow. And I literally was so angry. I stood up and I said, excuse me, good artists borrow. And the whole rest of the audience said in unison, great artists steal, which is what Igor Stravinsky said, right? Yeah. So they all said it in unison. I mean, maybe I might be exaggerating, but I know for a fact there were at least 5 or 6 people said it with me in unison. Right. Listen, theft is a time-honored tradition, and it's how culture actually grows in the first place, right? Look at Michelangelo, as we say in Italy, Michelangelo, and Raffaello, right? So for those that don't know, Raffaello, great Renaissance painter, was the understudy apprentice of Michelangelo. And he would have to copy his master's paintings. And one day he did a painting. He had to, his assignment was, do your own painting, but it must be in my style. And Raffaello did like a brand new original painting. Michelangelo walks over to it and signs it, Michelangelo. And then he said, Raffaello, you're fired. And you might think this is like the ultimate insult to injury, humiliation. But he literally was just like, you need to now go and be Raffaello.
Right.
I cannot
You're
teach
too
you.
Good to be here.
And right. And great masters, they do that. They say, I have nothing else to teach you once they understand, because anything else would be a waste of everybody's time and talent for that matter. Right. So sorry, let's just quickly catch up on the chat here. Coincidence, my favorite soundtrack of all time was done by one of them.
One of the Newman.
Sorry, what is your...
I think that they're referencing which Newman you prefer, you like the most?
Was it David who did
It was David.
Shawshank?
I think so.
I think it was David. Anyway, whichever one did Shawshank. Are you Googling that for me?
Thomas.
Of
course it's Thomas.
did. Okay.
Of course it's Thomas, yeah.
So for those that don't know, the Newman dynasty, they're, father and sons. There's Randy, David, Thomas, Alfred is the father, I believe.
Alfred is the father, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe he wrote the 20th Century the 20th Century Fox theme. I think, I don't know, can someone Google that for me? I think I got that right, if I know my film scoring. But look.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it was Alfred who wrote that. So like we're talking about the royalty of the film scoring world. So Thomas did. I don't know why I thought it was David. Anyway, what's amazing about the Newmans is that they all had to find their own voice. This is the incredible part, right? That they all kind of have to go off and differentiate themselves as brothers and nephews and whatever, cousins and whatever they were, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's difficult. That's not easy to do that, right? So. But yeah, Thomas, I get, because to me, Shawshank is a masterpiece. It's just, it's an absolute masterpiece. Now who did, hold on, stop the presses. Who did Awakenings? I don't know who did Awakenings. Let's see.
Right now.
Because I might have to change my, are you Googling Awakenings originals?
I am.
Huh?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
1990 Awakenings. Whoa. Why do I not have that? Okay. Oh, I remember this movie.
Sorry?
I didn't remember it when I wasn't sure what movie this was until I just pulled it up. But yeah, I remember this movie.
No, the original one, Awakenings, not this is...
Awakenings, 1990?
Randy Newman. It's Randy. Yeah.
Randy.
Okay, so I'm going to make a tie. It's a tiebreaker between Randy and Thomas. Because Awakenings, da 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 da. I can it is the most quintessential film. It's the film composer's film score. In other words, if you love film music, okay, so for example, Jerry Goldsmith said that a film score should not work as a artistic statement without the film. So, I'm just saying that was his idea, right?
Yeah, I know.
Which means that, okay, so then none of John Williams, we have to cancel all John Williams. Is that what you're trying to say? I understood his point that it's one piece of a part of art. I get it. But the Awakenings on its own can make you cry.
Right.
And honestly, guys,
listen. Film music can do both. I think the best film music can sit right behind the screen, but still survive on its own. That makes it good music.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm totally. And by the way,
it can't just be ambience.
Right. I understand his point. You understand. You have to understand. Right. Okay, wait, hold on. To kind of just 100%. Justify, I'm going to go devil's advocate for a moment. The point of Jerry Goldsmith is that you shouldn't, the way film music is structured is that a scene can go from bombardment in World War I, and then all of a sudden to a lovemaking scene, and a tender piano. So in other words, those two musically have nothing to do with one another. And therefore, as a piece of music, going from this massive action sequence to just a gentle solo piano, And then all of a sudden, a flashback to when I was a hillbilly, and then you get the banjo plucking. That's just, like
That's
you
just
can
weird.
easily see his point. Like none of that makes any sense. So I get it. But Awakenings is an absolute, I call it a film composer's soundtrack. He's a film composer's film composer. You know what I mean? Like it is the quintessential film score. And by the way, if you've never seen the film, I forgot now if it was Robert De Niro or Robin Williams. These are the two stars, by the way. I think it was De Niro who was given the chance. Either you take a choice, you can play the doctor or the patient, and De Niro chose the patient, right? And Robin Williams as the I don't know if I got it backwards, but one of them was offered that. Probably De Niro because, he's De Niro. But guys, Awakenings is a masterpiece. And it is one of the films that made me cry literally more. I think about, I'm just thinking.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
No, you guys, you can, I'm tearing up because you can't imagine what a beautiful film this is. It's literally one of the most beautiful films ever made, at least how I remember it in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's a tiebreaker between Randy and Thomas. But Randy is, I'm like, whichever Newman did Awakenings, that's my new favorite. But I can't give up Shawshank. So it's a tie because they're both masterpieces. Yeah. So, yeah, holy cow, man, Awakenings. Guys, see it. You want to know another film that just absolutely, this is just literally one moment in the film, but every time I saw it, I would just break down in tears. In Edward Scissorhands, in the climax where, he says to Winona Ryder, he just holds out his arms with this, hold me. It's just like, are you kidding? Or maybe I think he said it. I can't remember. One of them said it, but literally it's just this idea of like, I can't touch you with my hands, but I want to hold you. How does this work? The last time I tried to help your brother, I cut him in the face because I have scissors for hands. And like, if you think about the premise of that film, whoever took a chance on Tim Burton, right? Because that is the most ridiculous plot that you could ever conjure in your mind, right? It's basically Beauty and the Beast, right? But with scissors as hands,
Right.
So I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, are we getting to that time, Bobby?
I think we're good. I think we had a good
wrap session. I may just have to watch Awakenings again, and I'll tell you if I find it as moving as I did when I was a student at Berkeley. It was a homework assignment, watching and analyzing Awakenings.
Okay.
So I had to do it for homework, but man, it's probably why I can still sing one of those melodies from the film score. Oh, wow. Da, dee, da. Oh, anyway, I'm going to get back to you on that, but okay. We're at the time. I'm really sorry if I missed anybody's chat. I was just trying to quickly see if I missed anything. Did I miss anything important? I hope not.
There were no questions, just some comments here and there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Shawshank will make you cry as well, Jasmine. I'm with you on that. I mean, I think certainly the first time there was definitely, right. I think it was literally just the ending scene, like on the beach.
Yeah, it really hits.
It just hit. Yeah, it hit. Yeah, exactly. It gets you. It really gets you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And there's
3,000 Years of Longing. Yes.
Say again?
Jasmine says she loves the 3,000 Years of Longing soundtrack. That's a Junkie XL. What's his name?
I don't
Tom
know
Holkenberg.
Never saw it. I don't know it. So.
It came out during COVID. It flopped. It was I think the same director as what was that movie where it was all black and white and there was like the only color they had was red?
Schindler's List.
No, not Not Schindler's List.
Well, I'm just thinking of the only black and white, and there's literally only one
as soon
scene
as that
with
came out of my head, I was
the
like,
girl
oh,
in
no,
the red coat.
Is it Sin City? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
Sin
I think
City.
Bruce Willis was in it.
Yeah, was done in black and white for the most part.
Right.
There was also The Artist. I think it was called The Artist. Anyway.
Right. So, yeah, I think Frank Miller did 3,000 Years of Longing.
Okay.
No, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. I'm sorry.
But Frank Miller was I believe the author
300
but wasn't he the author? Was he also the director? I don't know. Like, I honestly, I thought he was the author of the Sin City.
Who directed
of the graphic novel? But anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, I think it's bothering Bobby. He's got to know. He's clacking away. I'll give you until my cat meows at me, wanting food. Awkward silence. We're all waiting on Bobby.
Who directed 3,000 Years?
Anyway.
Oh, you know why? I think it's spelled 3,000. That's why. Not the number 3,000. George Miller. I always confuse George Miller and Frank Miller. They have the same name.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know. I watched some stuff about him, about Junkie, talking about how he spent like a year just trying to come up with a melody. And working with the composer working with the director for a year and just working on this one little simple melody. Too bad we can't play it on the stream.
Yeah, exactly. Too bad. Too bad. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. Anyway, well, time to wrap it up. And
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for spending some time with us on a Friday night here and Friday day over there. And like I always say, I think the purpose of life is to find some purpose in life. And I think the meaning of life